Good afternoon. Welcome to Empower and Thrive Hub. I'm your host, Jacqueline. Now, Dartford in Kent, Dartford Borough in Kent County Council has finally been taken up by the Reform UK. Yep, the Reform UK have taken up Dartford, the town I have lived in since 2007. My neighbor and I were saying that this is not necessarily good news. It's good news for those who voted Reform UK and who believe in the policies of UK. I have my own reservations. Welcome to this vlog. Thank you to all new subscribers and returning subscribers, and those who watch even though you haven't subscribed. Do well to subscribe if you enjoy this content. I have some reservations because Reform UK with its leader Nigel Farage are very far right. It's a very far right leadership. They have taken mayoral leadership in the county of Lincolnshire. I mentioned this in my other video. If you haven't watched it, you could. And they've taken several other councils, as a matter of fact, Grimsby being the other one. This means that there's a shift now. There's a shift, and Conservative and Labour are pretty much in a very, they're opposition. They are now the opposition to Labour and Conservative, which makes them quite big um, during this 2025 election that has just I've just uh, gone through on the 1st of May. What does it mean for immigrants? In the other video, I asked the question, did you vote? We know that one of the mayoral seat that was taken over by Andrea, I believe her name is, won by about six seats only. That is it. Now, if six other people voted, perhaps they voted Labour, or if they voted a Green Party, for instance, they may not have taken that seat at all. As immigrants, we know that we are in a place where our position is threatened. Our position is threatened. Why? Because we are under attack for coming into the United Kingdom to take people's jobs, to take the British jobs, which we are not. Any immigrant that comes to the United Kingdom to work these days uh, goes through quite a stringent set of measures. They have to pay NHS charges. I was having this conversation with somebody. The NHS charge is per person, and a child, if it's a child, then they probably pay less than an adult, for instance, but they do pay. So very often, it may look like they're coming to put pressure on the NHS, but actually they are paying for the services now when they come as immigrants. And then the second thing is that there's no recourse to public funds, meaning they do not get any sort of benefits. Whatever job they get, whether it's the CUS sponsorship, a seasonal worker, a skilled worker visa, or whatever it is, they have to rely on those jobs. I mean, they have to rely on that salary and pay. And if they do not get enough, there is no other help for them. Very rarely do they get any other financial benefit at all. So let's put that aside. The third thing is that net migration has fallen. I believe the last time I read about it was about 5% fall in net migration. So some of the measures that the current government, that the Labour government has taken, have actually, brought down immigration. It may not look like it, with Nigel Farage talking about the small boats, for instance, that anybody, and conservative leaders saying that anybody that comes in small boats should not have a range of support services, a range of finances, for instance. No, I'm not saying that people should come here and go on benefits. That's not what I'm saying. But the majority of immigrants that come to this country work very hard, and they actually contribute to places such as the National Health Service. You need to look at the figures. The other thing is that no matter how much immigrants have come to this country, they are actually second class citizens. They do not take the place of the British, for instance. They don't come and take the place at all because the British are still the higher population, despite that their aging population takes precedence over the wider population. You will find that the immigrants are still nowhere near. Now, this conservative government in 1949, Thatcher took over in Dartford. There was the Thatcher era, and she took over Dartford in 1949 when she was still quite young. So, coming from a conservative government and now Dartford being pretty much now a reform, that's quite a shift, like I said earlier on. What is the shift going to be? The shift is going to be a focus on, I believe they're going to focus on immigration, because sometimes, like I said, it looks like as though when you go around and look at the general environment, it looks like there's more of a people than yourself. If you see many black people in a town, you think, oh, these people are here now and they've taken over. But we have to look at the actual figures to see what is really going on. Yes, there is a change, but that doesn't mean that everybody that has now come into that particular town or space should be put into one pot and said, okay, let's paint them all with the same brush. They're all coming to do one thing. If it's not taking job, if it's not crime, if it's not this or it's that, there's always a threat to immigrants. And to me, the other final thing is that the human rights is now under threat for the UK, because when Reform UK takes over, they decided and they say that they are going to try and get out of the human rights. Human rights aspects protects a lot of asylum seekers, one, and their asylum seekers are the biggest group under attack in this government. I mean, in the in this country, for that matter. Now, the other thing is that human rights also protects a range of visas for people who are applying, for instance, to come as dependents to the United Kingdom, are protected under the human rights. If human rights should be exited, then the majority of people will lose their human rights. So that is part of the issue with that I have. There was a dog going past, so I got distracted. And I'm losing, let me get my train of thought. So yes, human rights. Anybody that applies to come as a dependent to the United Kingdom may need the human right aspects, because that is the family. That comes under the family. It protects the family. It protects the person's rights to reunite with their family. Dependent visas, parent visas, those who are coming to join maybe children, parents coming to join children, or children coming to join parents, or spouses coming to join their husband or wife. So that for me is the main concern. I see the concern of the British people. I'm not here to attack any party. I'm not here to attack any group of people. I'm not here to be biased. I'm not biased. I'm not, neither am I anti-immigrant, because I think immigration has its place in any country. Should the British people go to Africa, for instance, or choose any country that you'd like in Africa, you too would have a right to vote, for instance, and you'd have a right to vote who you'd like, and you still have at least up to a certain level, I think, um, your ability for democracy. Although no African countries are all democratic, they say they're democratic, they are not always fully democratic. But that is neither here nor there. I think that UK is in a place where it does need immigrants. And, a lot of British people visit many countries, all over the world, and people are welcome all the time. if people go to a country in the right way and enter a country the right way, I think, they should be welcome. They are not coming to take anything from anybody. So that's that.